Welcome back to another video, guys. Smacky OG here, and today I will be copying Beastman Rage in all of his videos by making my own version of a Casual Rants. Now, if you haven't checked out his channel yet, man, go check it out. Very nice content, I will say so myself. Big fan. As a casual player myself for both Overwatch and Rivals, really do relate to all of his content, and I guess I'm doing my own version of it just cause. But I mean, a lot of my videos are just me ranting, spiraling, just saying things that come to my mind. And yeah, I'm gonna keep going with the freestyling for the remainder of the videos that I have. Anything that comes up in my mind, I just want to talk about. Anyways, today I want to be talking about Stadium Mode in Overwatch. Now, it was revealed around February time last year. It came out in April. And if I'm being honest, man, I probably played maybe 10 matches of Stadium. I don't know who that game mode is for. I don't see a lot of people playing it. It's an interesting concept, but why does it exist? Okay, like it was dope when they actually released it and were, hyping it up a lot. There was a lot of, marketing surrounding it, but I mean, that was rolled out after the perk system, which, I talked about before. Now I'm going to talk about Stadium. I don't know, man. It's a weird game, I think it's a very interesting concept. You go through rounds, like however many rounds it is, 7, 9. I forgot. I haven't played the game in so many months. Whatever. I haven't played that game mode specifically. I still play Overwatch, but whatever. But bro, like, who is that game mode for? Now, I hate to be that one guy who's like, oh, remember you said this, you said this, you said this, even though the devs backtracked on what they said. Yes, Overwatch 2 originally was coming out on the premise that a story mode, a PvE mode, was coming out on launch. That quickly got scrapped. They did have those episodes, a playable story mode that you had to pay for, right? That's just straight diabolical. How are you going to make someone pay for that when you already make them pay for a battle pass and not even deliver a full story mode that you guys promised since day one? Again, I don't want to be like all like Debbie Downer or whatever, but you guys are gonna take the same what's the word, concepts, the same assets, if you will, from that PvE story mode and put it towards a new game mode called Stadium where it's PvP. I'm not gonna lie, when it came out, it was really fun. It was interesting. You get to experiment with builds, and it just gets interesting, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was fun, but I don't personally have a lot of fun playing Stadium, like, it's just weird. There's no good way of me saying this. Again, I'm a casual, following the Casual Rants video, whatever. It's just not fun, man. Like, it's very grind heavy. A lot of people sweat and figure out what build is, like, the most optimal, instead of just having fun with it. I'm not gonna lie, some people do have fun with it, right? Like, there's definitely that demographic, but some people definitely sweat in it, and I think there's a ranked mode for Stadium now, which is kind of insane. I actually don't know, so don't quote me on that. I haven't checked. I just played the regular Stadium mode. I know how, like, you play it and I guess you essentially just get a rank up after every win, kind of like Apex Legends, but whatever. Yeah, I don't really get the premise of the game mode, man. It's very interesting, but I think that effort and that time could have been put to a better use if they just went through and followed through with what they promised on originally. They had all those assets from the beginning, from the jump, and I know they what was it called? They like presented it, they demonstrated it back in BlizzCon or something, like 2020, 2021, whenever this thing happened, right? Where they showed off those assets, they showed off the potential of this story mode where you could have a skill tree and pretty much experiment with your character and just make them super dope. Seeing that, I initially was like, okay, that's sick. Like, now you can actually make like custom loadouts for like online, right? So no one Genji is gonna be the exact same, but there's gonna be trade-offs. I That would have been cooler in my opinion, but then Stadium mode, having a whole separate mode of just making online like a custom loadout for each character and then going in and then modifying it after each game. But like showing off, say Genji's blade where he has a projectile instead of just a slash with his, he does a sword slash and it shoots a projectile blade out. Showing that off and having all those assets ready on launch and then not utilizing them for the story mode and not building on your story mode and just, whatever. I could be as upset as I want to with Overwatch, but, that thing is probably never going to come out. And then going out and saying, oh, we're not going to make a story mode anymore, but here are some episodes that you're going to have to pay for. And yeah, it's not going to be free on launch like we said. And, oh, here's the thing. Let's make a stadium mode that nobody asked for and let everyone use these assets and just play a game that's kind of like just whack and crazy. It's a cool idea. I'm not going to deny that they were smart enough to actually utilize those assets the way they did. But in my honest opinion, I think it would have just been better if they just kept delaying the story mode, as long as they could have until they could actually put something together. The PvE mode, sick. Having that skill tree, sick. But having that, be a shell of what it would have been, not so sick. But yeah, Stadium's fun for the most part. You can switch between third person, first person. You do your builds. You could do like a healing build for Soldier 76. You could do a rocket build, the visor build, whatever. There's so much you can experiment with. But I think now that I'm talking about it and thinking about it, I feel like if they put it in online, just regular multiplayer, like just the abilities, like having the skill tree without adding, increased reload speed, increased projectiles, increased damage, like all that stuff, just take them all out and then have those separate abilities instead of like say perks or something. I think that would have been cool, right? Like Genji having his projectile blade, you can put that on, equip it for less damage, say whatever the trade-off would be, and then boom, you're getting way more elims by just having the blade out, just shooting its blade. Have variations of each ability. I know they kind of did that with perks, but I'm just thinking right off rip of what they showcased back in whatever 2020, 2019, 2021, whatever that year was that they showcased their PvE mode and the abilities and skill trees. If they had just done that and put it in multiplayer, I think that'd be cool. Now, application of those, that thought process is completely different. Theory versus practice, theoretical versus practical execution is completely different. In my head, it sounds good, it sounds perfect, and then boom, they do it, and it's a terrible, terrible situation in the game where it's like, yo, this is like just stupid, super whack, not balanced whatsoever. But that goes with everything, right? So, yeah, I'm just yapping, so following that rant, I guess, premise that I started off in the beginning. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. You guys think Stadium mode should have just been a prolonged or an extended, a delayed PvE mode, a delayed story mode that they promised from the jump? Or do you guys actually like Stadium? Like I'm interested to hear like who actually plays Stadium mode, because I don't, and that's not really a bad thing. It's just not for me. I have played it, but I don't play it consistently enough to say anything, good about it. As negative as that sounds, I don't want to be super negative about this. I like Overwatch, I still play the game, but I do kind of expect more from them, especially after it being what, like 8-9 months since they released that game mode, and they really have nothing to show for it, in my opinion. I could say as much as I want to about it. It's up to the devs what actually happens, and yeah, hopefully they actually do something nice. Because look, dude, they're putting so much effort and so much time and energy into like, making all these kits for all these different heroes, and then making them balanced, and in a sense, I guess, I don't know, but like they keep releasing a new hero or two every season into Stadium. They're like, oh, this person, Doomfist just got added or something, Sigma just got added, and he has 3 million black holes, or whatever. He has 3 ultimates that he could use in one go. He could do 3 gravity spots. Whatever the case may be, they rework everybody just to fit into Stadium, somewhat balance them, I guess you could say, I don't know, and they have a ton of abilities, a ton of boosts, a ton of trade-offs, and it's like, yo, all that time and energy and those abilities that you're conjuring up could have just been put into a game mode for story mode, right? A story mode would have been perfect. The PvE game mode would have been perfect. And you wouldn't have to worry as much about balancing. And I think people have a lot more fun just like experimenting with those builds. Like I think that's the coolest part about Stadium is making your build and experimenting with it. You know, theory crafting. I know that's a completely different topic. Theory crafting being, you know, making a whole comp with your team, having the, you know, freedom to do that. You know, bring up Overwatch 1 where it was no role lock, but you know, if we take that word and apply it to this scenario, that's what I'm gonna call theory crafting. But you know, you get to just experiment with different builds essentially, and you know, you go, hey, I'm gonna super heal my team, Soldier 76. I'm gonna have a million ammo, Soldier 76. I'm just thinking Soldier 76 off rip because that's all I really played in Stadium because he was just so easy to play and his builds were just easy as hell to put together and they were always just nutty. I mean, I played Reaper a lot too. I played Ash. I couldn't play any tanks, you know, or heals for that matter. It's very very difficult in Stadium for me to understand the concept of them and how their abilities work together. But whatever. Um, I suck at the game. You can say that. I don't mind. But yeah. What do you guys think, man? Stadium mode? Good, bad, eh? Should it exist in the game? PvE mode? Would that have been better? Could that execution have actually been really good to the point where Overwatch 2 could have been, you know, what it promised to be and lived up to what it said it was going to be and, you know, lived up to those expectations? I don't know. Maybe. You guys let me know. But yeah, I kind of do dig just thinking about multiplayer and having essentially a custom loadout for each character. It's kind of stupid if you think about it, but kind of cool because I'm just picturing that skill tree. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that back in the day. If they had that skill tree for every hero, and then you can change abilities, kind of like perks, but we have way more options and not as broken, not as busted, just variations of everything. I think that'd be cool. Like I'm thinking Genji off rip, you know, I keep bringing up like a few examples, but you know, maybe changes deflect to like something cool. I don't know. Like I have no clue. I don't remember anything about it besides like an image of Reinhardt in his skill tree. Maybe there was like a, you know, boost where you don't pin people, but you just push them and you have increased pushback when you do Rein's charge. Or you don't pin or push, you just leave a lava trail behind you when you do your charge. You know, trade variations like that. I think variations would be sick for that, especially in multiplayer, given, you know, the customization aspect. I think that fits both Stadium and perks. Perks kind of are busted, kind of not. For some characters, you know, I'm not gonna get into the nuances of that. Same thing with Stadium. You know, you can have a skill tree, have a variation of every single ability, even your projectiles, if they wanted to go that far. Maybe they give Genji 5 projectiles for lower damage output or something like that, or you know, his dash can like reset every time it hits a target, not just killing them, but it takes, you know, half as much damage, which actually is kind of busted, but you know, whatever. It's just things I'm thinking off the top of my head. But yeah, you guys let me know what you thought about the video. You guys like these casual rant videos? I know it's a straight rip off of I mentioned his name earlier. I can't believe I forgot it, but Raging Beast. I think I completely forgot, dude. I'm so sorry, but he does like some like the same thing, casual rants, just yapping about stuff he likes, doesn't like, about Overwatch. But yeah, this is kind of a fun video. I'm still going off the freestyle premise that I said I was going to be doing. I think it's just gonna help me, you know, present my thoughts in a more fluid manner. It's gonna help me actually think with a purpose instead of just blindly just talking, which I am doing. I'm not gonna lie about that, but that's just gonna help me communicate and express myself better. So yeah, man, let me know what other thoughts you guys have on this topic regarding stadium mode, and what kind of videos do you guys want to see in the future? Because I definitely do want to get back into making videos. Kind of want to, you know, bring that spark back. But instead of forcing myself to do this stuff, I just want to have, hey, I have a thought. You know, this might be cool in this game. Let me talk about it. Let me see what the community thinks. Let me gauge your guys' opinions and be like, hey, this is kind of stupid. Oh, this is kind of dope. Whatever. Yeah, I just want to have like a chill time now. Don't want to just be like clickbaiting as much. I didn't really do that a lot, but some people said I did. Whatever, man. I'm not even popping like that for it to matter. But yeah, appreciate you guys for watching, and catch y'all in the next one. Peace.